Let's review for the practice, the thing for tomorrow. The first 8 questions. The first 8 questions I'm asking you guys to graph it. But keep in mind that now, like yesterday we did only reflections, rotations. Now we're also including translations. So we have all three. So looking at question number 1, right on the graphing, this one, because it's x minus 4, it's telling me to go 4 spaces to the left. And because the y is by itself, it says don't move up or down. So it seems like only 4 spaces to the left on each. So let me grab each of the coordinates, each of my vertices, the corners, and let me move 4 spaces to the left. Then connect my points. Bless. And that's pretty much it. Right, move 4, in this case, move 4 spaces to the left. You guys have some reflections, you guys have some rotations. The first 4, that's all I'm asking. For reflection, what I would recommend, draw the mirror line. Draw it and then count the spaces. Actually, let me do one reflection. Let me take a look at question number 6. It says reflection across y equals x. So let me draw the mirror line. That's the line y equals x. Well, for reflection, it's very useful. So let me reflect it. So what I'm going to do, since the line is tilted, the way I count the distance is also tilted. In fact, the line and the way I count the spaces, it always makes a cross. In mathematics, we call that perpendicular. Alright, so looking at J, it is 1.5 spaces away from the line. So J prime will be 1.5 on the other side. I'm going to go half and 1 more. So J prime is there. Looking at I is 1, 2, 3 spaces from the line. So it should be 1, 2, 3 spaces on the other side. K is 2.5. And then H is right there. K is right here at the very bottom of the y-axis. And it's kind of hard to see it because of the arrow, but that's where K is. So 1, you guys can reflect it using the mirror line and then split it in. Or you guys could have done it using getting the coordinates and then using the rule. How do you guys do it? It doesn't really matter. As long as you guys finish with the reflecting image, because when I grade it, I'll just be looking for the image. How did you get it? It's up to you. Yes?
Can you do number 4?
Number 4. So rotation of 180 degrees. This one, I remember the rule. It says xy becomes negative x, negative y. Alright, so let me get the coordinates of each point right now. My point F is negative 5, 1. My point E is negative 2, 1. My point D is 0, negative 2. And my point G is negative 2, negative 3. Now, remembering the rule, negative x, negative y, let me call this 5, negative 1 for my F prime. Looking at my E, the A prime is going to become 2, negative 1. What do you guys get for D prime?
0, 2.
0, 2. What about G prime? 2, 3. Alright, so let me plug this point in. Connect your dots. And it should look as if this thing flipped 180 degrees. The image should be the same. Obviously, just flip. But if it's not, then check your point. Right. Anything for the first 8. Alright. Take a look at question number 9. 9 through 16. Sometimes these are visual questions. Like you guys can see it. You should be able to see it. If you cannot, then follow a point. But sometimes you can just see it. Does anybody know what's happening here, number 9? Rotation 90 degrees. Counter or counterclockwise or clockwise? Counter. Rotation 90 degrees counterclockwise. About the order. It looks like it's moving 90 degrees against the clock. 90 degrees counterclockwise. If you can see it, then obviously just write the formula. The rule. If you cannot see it, follow a point. Like if I look at E, my coordinates right now are 4, 1. E prime are negative 1, 4. So it looks like x, y becomes negative yx, and then I know which rule is. Rotation 90 degrees counterclockwise. Like I said, if you can see it, 9 through 16 are very visual. If you can see it, just write it. If you cannot, then follow a point. Right. Any questions up until 16? Yeah. One more? Alright, let's take a look at number 10. What's happening with number 10? Counter or counterclockwise? So remember clockwise is this way. So counter, 90 degrees counterclockwise. Yeah. Just go into YouTube video and check out the video. Next time also pay attention to class. Alright, let's take a look at number 17. Looking at number 17, reflection across y equals x. And I know the rule for that one. Right, we have a rule, x, y, reflection across y equals x, I get xy becomes yx. So, for q prime, we're going to get negative 3, 1. What do you guys get for r prime? 1, 1. What do you guys get for s prime? Negative 2, 5. All we're doing, we're swapping the x and the y. We get swapped. On the art, I know it doesn't look like we did, but we did. So whenever we have to follow a point, don't follow a point if it's the same number, because you cannot tell if you got swapped or not. Right. Anything up until 24. Alright, let's take a look at number 25. I'm going to say V is not a good point to follow because I don't know if the X and the Y are going to swap. Right, 4 and 4, I would not be able to tell. Let's follow T. It looks like XY is going to become Y negative x. And it seems like that's what's happening. Which rule is that one? 90 degrees clockwise. Make sure you guys tell me clockwise or counterclockwise. For 90 degrees, there's two types of 90 degrees. Right? 90 degrees clockwise, 90 degrees counterclockwise. 180, obviously you guys don't have to, but for 90, make sure you guys specify which one. If I only see on the quiz rotation 90 degrees, then I'll consider it incorrect. So in fact, let me do one more of these. Let's take a look at number 26. I know W is not a good point to follow. Let's take a look at X. If I follow X, it looks like XY becomes just YY, right? It looks like YY. So it seems like we don't have an X, which is a weird rule that we have. Like, we don't have that rule. So when something like that happens, I'll tell you guys, it's not reflection and it's not rotation. Therefore, I'll say it has to be translation. So I'm going to go translation.
How do you know that it's not like this?
Because see how my negative 3 was the Y? It became YY. Like my X seems like my Bible vector seems like it disappeared. So like I said, so following the point seems like that is not X. It's not reflection or translation. I mean, not reflection or rotation. So it's looking translation. What are we doing to the X? Subtracting 2. So let me say 2 units left. Like we're moving 2 to the left. We're subtracting 2 from each X. Matter of fact, we can compare them. What are we doing to the Y's? Nothing. So I'm not going to do anything for the Y's. Right? Nothing up or down. We're not doing anything to the Y's. Right? Sometimes I will say 2 units left, and whatever units up, whatever. But this one we're just moving to the left, so just 2 units up. All right. Any questions on your work? Okay. All right. The quiz tomorrow. Make sure you guys are ready for it.